All right, so in this first part of the movie, because I documented this movie before, I wanted to find the specific scene that I was attempting to reference or thought about when they had the scene in Deadpool where he was masturbating and he was holding a unicorn to his forehead. And when I recorded, I mean, when I documented about this movie originally, the perpetrators have yet to begun altering my vocal cords and manipulating my bottom jaw as much as they do now to manipulate my speech as well as my voice. And so now, seeing this first scene of the movie, it also makes sense that they were gaslighting and hypersensitizing to the fact that they like to increase the pitch of militant black men's voice as well as other minorities and targets. They like to increase the pitch of their voice in order to make their voice sound squealy. They like to and then you notice every time I'm saying certain things, they like to make notifications occur and what have you, as if confirming what I'm saying and antagonizing me at the same time. And so they like to increase the voice and the pitch. And then you notice I've been recording videos a lot more lately rather than documenting in note form, because they've been shocking my arm muscles a lot more to fatigue my arms as well as my fingers and my hand grip. You understand? And so I began to record videos more, and it just so happens that they also began to increase the pitch of my voice to troll me. But regardless, I just wanted to show this part of the video first because now it corresponded with what's going on. And
Hey everybody, how we doing? All right, good? Hey, one more time for our band, huh? Black defendants, you're gonna love them. Hey, tell you what, we're gonna take a few minutes away from all this partying and rocking. We're gonna give a little bit of our time to our friend here, Tom Klaus, who's gonna say a few things about the bride and groom. He's the best man. Give me a love, everybody, Mr. Tom Klaus, everybody, all right?
so the significance in this scene, you see that he's saying no dogs allowed. His shirt, his hat, and then it shows him zip up his pants as well as stuff his pants as well. You understand? And so essentially, what this is symbolizing is the fact that the white supremacists, like I've already stated, they organ harvest the sexual drive and libido from the prostate gland. You understand? And then after that, that's essentially a form of neutering. They play middleman with your sex drive because what they're doing is they have the technology literally infused with the blood vessels of that organ. And then after that, and rather than the fluid that it produces going down the path it's meant to, they have it being electronically resonated with. They find the frequency and what have you, and then they Bluetooth it to their organ specifically. You understand? And so they can just limit it in your body, or they can emulate someone else's with Bluetooth as well that also has it in their blood vessels. So now you see how it works. Essentially, it's like all day I'm breathing, and while my organs are working how they operate, someone is literally attempting to Bluetooth my different organs at all times. You understand? And so they're attempting to play middleman with my body and this technology. And so this is how they're able to clone people's personalities, divvy it up among different people who are, buyers who have interest in it, what have you. Understand? And then the part about him stuffing the pants is the fact that they overcompensate the veins of the perpetrators who work with them and are on their side as they turn them into sex workers. I told you they essentially give them size and in their penis, and then encourage them to continue sex work. The same way they do specific things to women's vagina, and then you see they just did the notification once again, which I already told you the first time I explained about that specific camera notification, that they only make that one go off like that because it sounds like when a girl is saying "okay," like Cardi B. You understand? And I was just speaking about how they also enhance their vaginas. But like I'm saying, that's what it is meant to symbolize. And then they use that to attempt to lure people to like, join their sides and sell their. All right, so in this scene right here, it seems like these scenes are just back to back to back. Once I really realized a lot more about like the organ harvesting aspect with Bluetooth technology specifically. You understand, and seeing how easy it is for them to operate, being as they're just doing it to me from afar with the material inside my body responding to their frequencies electromagnetically. You understand, and so you also begin to realize how many people are benefactors or beneficiaries of my organ harvested energy, as well as my block and my mother's family. You understand, and the extended family that I had in my childhood. And so like I said, with Crip and several of us, and what they did was they like to gaslight with the color blue all the time. All right, and so you see right here, the husband has on a blue polo, and he's speaking to his wife, who has dimples that are very deep. And what it is like I've already explained, they like to gaslight. And I used to have indents in my cheek, where they now leave synthetic fat to leave my face more round and less attractive and symmetrical. You understand? And so what they're doing, well, just less fit. But what they're doing is as and that's also defamation. But what they're doing, as well as medical malpractice, but what they're doing is they are showing that they stole our energy. And so he has on a blue shirt, and then he's speaking to his wife, who they're gaslighting about my features specifically, that they have made a big deal out of, with the legal surveillance of me specifically, just focusing on me for the sake of me being able to accurately discuss my own history. And so in my past, you understand. And so I had the indents in my cheeks that I have proof of from photos. And they removed it when they added the synthetic fat. And then after that, they began to gaslight me, and I didn't even realize I was being gaslight in that specific way until late last year to early this year. And then after that, several things that I've already documented about, as well as have seen and used to refer to or had an interest in throughout my life, things that I liked from viewing, or people that I may have known and then I realized were perpetrators in retrospect. You understand, several people were gaslighting me about the fact that they removed my dimples. You understand, which my mom still has her dimple. You understand, so it just goes to show that they were attempting to gaslight me with certain features, just like my eyebrows and my nose bridge and the nose size and what have you. They changed my skin complexion, several other things, my hairline, and then my hairstyle. How they my father's family forced me to cut my hair and then go away to prep school and college, But they made all of my cousins grow their hair to braids. How I used to have my braids, my hairstyle for years, and it was my signature. You understand? And then they just attempt to continue to perform their identity theft. But like I said, so the wife has the dimples, and that's meant to be the gaslight in that direction. And then after that, I believe there was something else that occurred, but I'll catch it while it goes. Oh, he says he makes a joke saying when she says something about his diet, and he says cholesterol, and the cholesterol is definitely a perpetrator society joke due to how rapey they are, and how sex work is so prevalent in their enslavement. You understand? It's very misogynistic as well, due to their buck breaking agenda and them forcing homosexuality on several of their enslaved, which therefore you can imagine how entitled the homosexuals that enslave people, which I literally labeled objectively as faggots rather than considering homosexuals faggots. I consider all people who enslave people and force them into sex work with this technology, and this literal slavery that they're reinstating when the government is backing them, so that the person has absolutely no form of help other than other citizens who hear their story and believe them. You understand? I refer to those people as faggots. You understand? So like I said, the entitled people that are all the way at the top, that are forcing this agenda, you understand, are the ones that they're shocking my brain right now, so that I lose the context of my sentence. However, what I said is, they're being as they're so entitled, and they're homosexual. They definitely mistreat women all the time, especially the women that they have enslaved. You understand?
Just one?
No,
Just one.
I need you healthy.
I am healthy. You know that. I'm in great shape.
Your cholesterol.
Oh, my cholesterol. Come on. One slice of.
They show a bunch of turkey sausages. Keep in mind that they have a lot of homosexual innuendos and references. Subliminals.
So you're a doctor now?
One slice of bacon is not going to make a difference.
You said you wanted me to make.
She says, so you're a doctor now? And that's a gaslight specifically to me. As I already explained, I went to school, on the medical path before shifting my focus. And they definitely organ harvested a lot of that information from my brain. You understand? As well as it's also been referenced by J. Cole, who, also partially depicts me. And when he said in his song, the context is he was on a plane in first class, and a rich white lady thought he was a basketball player, and she asked him if he was a basketball player before even introducing herself or asking him his name, and he replied, "No, bitch, I'm a doctor." Understand? So it's been referred to before.
This just so you could smell it.
Yes! And I smell it, and it's delicious. And all I want is just one little taste. Just one little taste.
And you're
There goes the
smelling
dimples.
it. It'll titilize your senses. It'll be there.
Oh, my senses are already being titillized. Now, come on, just one taste, please.
All right, and so also when he was asking her for one taste, and she was teasing him about how he can smell it, and it'll titillate his senses, which was a joke, an innuendo. But at the end of the day, what they're referring to is the fact that they play with the senses of the targeted individual. So even at times when they're antagonizing me, and they're attempting to torment me vocally about their bug breaking agenda and what have you, they will even cue the scent of vagina, you understand, in the graphene air smellers, as it was labeled in the scientific video that I even posted on my Facebook. And like I said, they have any scent you can think of, you understand? So they use that as a teaser, to tease me as they continue to antagonize me about their bug breaking agenda, and how they buck break people and make them, concede to their enslavement and then become sex workers, and they make them have they force them into homosexuality, and then after that they allow them to, participate in heterosexual sex when, they've done enough that was requested of them. And that's something that I could never concede to. So they just antagonize me all the time. I told you I haven't had sex in 2 years. The last time I had sex was 2021. And so, they just continue to antagonize me. As I said, you can refer to the reference of Sasuke in the desert, getting teleported to the desert. And I think I had even documented another one about the desert as well. You understand? All right. So here we have what appears to look exactly like the apartment I stayed at. Well, it's a house owned by Caleb, one of the people who I even documented as, what they consider a little person, which, you can't necessarily identify how much they have to do with the perpetrator society. However, they are, being used to, at the very least, gaslight you, and, with subliminal messages and body language and what have you, just little things that, you're meant to ignore if you're intelligent and wise, because they're just trying to provoke you. But at the same time, microaggressions do add up, and all of these microaggressions, that they have all of their little people on a daily basis when you go outside, as well as, people who are actually, conversing in the V2K conversation and manipulating the technology and, manipulating my electronics, my phone, my TV, smart TV, what have you, the cameras, the notifications, everything, you understand, even the home appliances, you understand, it's that serious. They turn the vent on, you hear that vent sound in the background whenever they so choose, usually at a time to irritate me, and it contextually makes sense with the V2K conversation, or they'll make, a different vent or radiator, make sounds as well. They do things like that often, and pretty much in so many locations that you go to, that you just realize just how vast their society is, and how implemented their strategies are in everything, including infrastructure, like how they build buildings everywhere. It's like they just include it in the infrastructure of the building, the construction of the building itself, so they can manipulate it with magneticism to create sounds. But regardless, there's in this upcoming scene when she bends down, and it shows the front porch from a top angle, a camera angle. That is exactly where the apartment had a camera on the front porch, you understand? And it looks extremely similar or identical to that, you understand? There was a lake, or like a little like pond, synthetic pond that they created in their front yard, you understand, right next to the gate. And the gate is in the exact same area that it is in this video, in the northwest corner of the video, you understand, or of the camera angle. So it looks very similar. And then what you see occur is the rabbit, which is like the big monster in this movie, it attacks her, and her left eye flies out and rolls all the way, it flies all the way into the house, into the lemonade that her husband then drinks without realizing that her eyeball is inside of it, and then the eyeball ends up in in his mouth. So remember that this is satirical, you understand, and it's meant to be so satirical that you just realize everything is meant to tell you something directly about their perpetrator society. This is a movie that I found through my research when looking for movies that relate to their perpetrator agenda, you understand, and methodology. And so what that's telling you is the same thing I've been telling you, how they do something with the eyeball itself, and they make some type of switch with the eyeball for a scientific reason that I still have not pinpointed exactly. But it's more than just I believe it's more than just one of their spy love interests that they use, attempting to switch eyes with you. Because one thing that I can realize that they would be able to do after that is, if the spy love interest was to have a baby with someone else, and it has the woman's eyes, or if it's a woman who's being targeted and has the man's eyes, if they do switch it that way as well, then that's just another feature that they would claim, they share because of them switching it. And then they probably do, the same process that happens when people get organ transplants physically, so that the body, accepts and incorporates the foreign organ. You understand? So then they can attempt to manipulate your DNA as well. And so all of this ties into all of the documentation I already have. In Naruto Shippuden, Obito is shown fighting with the DNA sword, and they're breaking off the DNA strand symbolically, which just shows that they're altering DNA. And then there's several targeted individual posts and research that show how, the DNA is involved in what they do with the frequencies and the restructuring of the body. So it just all correlates, even down to the fact that, the rabbit is supposed to be the big monster. And I told you that they continue to use the rabbit symbolically to show that, they the government's resources and how much they've implemented their agenda already in society. It makes them able to move swiftly like rabbits, how they always show them as the swift getaway. You understand? But the reality is they aren't swift mentally. They use other people's thought processes who are swift, such as me, such as myself. You understand? Us targeted individuals. And recall, I told you they continue to attempt to manipulate my speech and my thoughts so that, I can make the wrong grammatical choice initially before correcting myself. You understand? Just at the same time, they're vocally attempting to create confusion by telling me that every time they make a mistake occur in my speech, then they can lie to people that they're lying to already and continue to act as though, they speak for me, when the reality is they just manipulate your speech by, doing so many actions in conjunction. And it's very obvious and easy to identify when you have the scientific means such as technology that can identify it. You understand? So now I'm just gonna play the scene. But the rabbit does tie into Kaguya, like I said, and from Naruto Shippuden, and how she had the rabbit form, as well as Megumi in Jujutsu Kaisen, who has he used the rabbit technique. And remember that Megumi is meant to depict Buddy, and Kaguya is meant to depict our grandmother Tanya James, and that also correlates directly to the Gaara and Shukaku character reference and lure, when, Shukaku is meant to depict my grandmother and Gaara is meant to depict Buddy. You understand? From this angle right here, this looks exactly like, the front camera angle. Not exactly, but very similar to the front camera angle of where I stayed. You understand? The steps that she's walking down is not there. However, right where I'm showing you where that flower pot is where, the front porch steps are. So that's where the people sit down. And then the actual concrete area looks exactly like this. This is the path where you see some form of a structure. It looks like, some type of limestone or something in the corner. That is where the synthetic pond is. And then the gate looks exactly like this. You understand? And then outside of it is a parking space for, a car or two. So it looks very similar. In front of the front yard as well, there's a road where, cars drive by, and across the street from it is all forest, just like this. It's all trees. You understand? And on the other side of the trees is a train track. Her right arm is cut off. You see her right arm cut off after she gets hit by a car. And what that is meant to depict, as always, I told you, when the arms are shown as severed off, it's figurative for their connections. So, with the love interest being the spies being Danielle and Daniela, and Danielle claiming attempting to affiliate with Crip, while Daniela was attempting to affiliate with Blood for the sake of, infiltrating them for the government, you understand, and the perpetrators' enslavement agenda and organ harvesting from militant people such as gang members, you understand, then as well as several other traits. Trust me, it's capitalist America. They want a lot more than you realize. And so for their own lives and own personality with the Bluetooth, you understand? And so with the right hand cut off, that would, depict Daniela, who's also, she passes for white because of her light skin at times, and by definition of passing. And with the right arm cut off, that would show that she was never truly from the gang lifestyle. And when we dated, she knew that I was affiliated with Crip already, and that she attempted to gain that image herself as well, especially as they sent me away to prep school, my father's family. And then she was one of the main perpetrators from an early age that was illegally surveilling me and, planning with my father's family and other perpetrators who were in our networks on their infiltration and then, the future organ harvesting of me with the Bluetooth technology. And then with Danielle, it would just be the left arm cut off. And now you see the eye, like I said, it's taken out, and then it flings itself all the way through the window into the lemonade. And then the husband is about to drink it now without realizing. Ooh. You understand? And now the eyeball is hanging from his mouth. So what that is meant to depict is essentially what I've been hypothesizing is the fact that they've did some type of medical malpractice and possibly attempted to transplant eyeballs. And you see that that's referenced several times. They may even want it to appear like one person's when it really is someone else's, especially when they also do eye retinal detachment, and they like to tamper with the ocular nerves. They can do all sorts of mismatches. But the reality is, even with the Uchiha, it shows that like there's a habit of people chasing after their eyeballs to steal them from them, as well as the figurative version of it that Uchihas themselves gain better perspective from other Uchiha Sharingan, which just makes sense because, Uchihas are the achievers in society and the people who are confident and individuals who, have a lot to offer to society, as revolutionaries. And so, if two are in communication with one another and are learning from each other's perspective, there's a lot to gain, you understand? So that's the figurative aspect to it, where the Uchihas themselves like to give their Sharingan to people who they admire, that are like their best friends or what have you, upon death or some type of ill fate, because they are ninja. And they do live by the creed that if it's their time to go, then it's their time to go. And so they like to give their Sharingan to their another Uchiha who's their friend or family or what have you, that they respect. And then after that, the Uchiha who gains that Sharingan from their friend gets a lot stronger because of their strength and perspective. So in this video right here, essentially they're having a meeting for their dog catchers association, and he's explaining there's a rabid dog from an East neighborhood. And so I believe that they're speaking on me specifically, dehumanizing and defaming my reputation by referring to me as a dog, a rabid dog from the East neighborhood, East New York. And so it says it's foaming from the mouth, and like I said, they depict us and refer to us as werewolves in the perpetrator society, you understand? So as he continues, this is the first scene, 11 minutes into the movie, we find out that the main character's name is Doug. And then as Doug begins to ask questions about the rabid dog, it's satire. He asks 3 questions, and all of them are, questions that a police officer would ask about a suspect, you understand? And the whole point is that they're trying to, clearly reference the fact that they're referring to a person. And so it also refers to the fact that, Buddy, Dre, Todd, several of the perpetrators our age that I already named and my father's family have been, raised as perpetrators, enslaved, as well as being raised as confidential informants, you understand? And they realize that anytime anyone relies on the government or the police, they only have slavery to look forward to regardless, you understand? And so that's their overlying message. And so you see by the questioning and what have you that, clearly they were raised self-hating and to view their own race as, rabid dogs.
7. It looks like there's a rabid dog out in the east neighborhood. It's a gray Labrador. He's got the foamy mouth. You know all the symptoms. If you see this animal, do not hesitate to put him down. Right then, right there. Yes, Doug.
Just 3 things, Chief. What is the dog's street name, if any? Race? And is he or she a previous offender?
Doug, I don't know this shit. Gee whiz, what do you expect? It's a rabid gray Labrador with a foamy mouth. If you encounter this animal, shoot the son of a bitch right then and there.
Well, I just want to get all the facts, Chief, so I'm more capable of making an
Can I go on, please? Can I go on? So we're up to item 8. Item 8 is simply this. It is against all company policy to shoot an animal who's gone up into a tree and wait for rescue.
Right, so here I already documented about this scene in my notes months ago. However, the video can do justice as well, so you can hear the phonetics, because they sound as though they're saying rape when they say rake. And then after that, clearly the literal context of what he's saying is very outlandish, but it's because it's satirical and it's meant to refer to the technology that they actually use. And so after he says that, the mutilation of someone found in the forest is due to rake, getting hit by a rake, he says that now people are building electronic rake weapons to attack people with. And really he's like referring to the electronic sexual harassment that they do with this graphene. As you see in Berserk, you saw how it was symbolized in the intro with the graphene black symbiote alien like Venom wrapping itself around the women. And I told you they do this to women and men, you understand? And then after that they buck break. So they just enslave you. They continue to strengthen the slave mentality that they instill in their broken targets, and then after that, they just take advantage of them for the rest of their life.
Dude.
So,
Mr. Mayor, I have a photo with a victim with claw marks across her chest. How are you going to tell me that farm tools did that?
Let me see that, bro. Bring it up here. Are you high, man? These are obviously rake marks.
Oh.
Have you ever seen cartoons where the dude steps on the rake and it hits him in the face? Fuck, man, he goes down. Can you imagine if these evil Amish people, man, are experimenting with electronic rake technology, man? Can you imagine the mutilation, the devastation? Well, you don't have to, because this is it, bros.
Mr. Mayor, how does an electric rake put a body 20 feet into the tree?
Are you a physicist? Are you a physicist, man? It's just one of those science things, man, that nobody knows. It's like the last number of pi, or how they get the stuffing in those Twinkies, man. It's just unanswerable. But, lucky for you all, I've got a crack team of scientists working to solve the problem. It's the new Farnsworth line of safety tools, man. The ultimate in safety at only twice the price. Check out this bubble wrap hammer. Wow. Nothing. Didn't feel a thing. And check out my whipped cream sander.
he shoots whipped cream directly on her pineal gland or her third eye, exactly where Deadpool was holding the unicorn on his head when he masturbated. And what that is showing is that, when they're tormenting targets, they like to send visuals to your visual cortex, as well as verbally sexually harass you by, having people that you do not want speaking to you speak to you while you're attempting to masturbate, you understand? Being as I'm isolated and have not had sex in some years, I can't say about that, but I guarantee you the people who do have sex when they're being targeted, they do the exact same thing, you understand? And they attempt to create disassociation in several ways and infringe on your experience. What else was I gonna say? Also, the perpetrators themselves, like I said, they connect to this virtual world and they, perform sex acts and sex work in the virtual world with their senses connected to the virtual reality with the graphene that's implanted in their body, and they maneuver around and do what they please when they can, because, like I said, there's always a hierarchy over there, and they always have slave masters that essentially can tell them what to do, and they all communicate with this synthetic telepathy that is V2K.
You totally remind me of the chick that was at my party last night, man. Covered in the shit. And we also have an edible wrench, man, made out of jello. It does its job, but you can also eat it, man. We're gonna save the world. We're solving world hunger here, man.
Mr. Mayor, how is turning food into a wrench gonna solve world hunger?
It just does, chick. Come on, roll with it, go with it. And where do we find these wonderful tools? Thanks for asking, man.
Once again, the black man has a very high-pitched voice, you understand? So they're showing that they manipulate our voices and our vocal cords.
Not just moments ago, I entered into an exclusive agreement with the owner of the Farnsworth hardware tool store downtown to get rid of all the current evil tools that he has, man, and replace them with the new Farnsworth line of safety tools, And if you're in a real hurry to save your loved ones, your dog, your cat, what have you, you can get them from me directly right now for a small $50 shipping and handling fee per item.
But what about all the wild animals?
Problem solved, bro. Problem solved. No more questions. I'm out. What are we gonna do about this wild animal problem, bro?
We've got our best man on this.
We better, man. Did you see the whipped cream on the chicken? That was awesome.
So here we have another scene that I already documented about, and essentially what it's referring to is their buck breaking agenda. So it's satire, and the guy says essentially, dinosaurs didn't. First he says, homosexuality is like rampant, and that's a sign that the end of the earth is near. And then he says, dinosaurs didn't go extinct; they all turned gay. And it's just meant to show that, they're using this technology, creating the anal fissures, V2K harassment, suffocation, all sorts of torture in order to mentally break people in order to make them do as they say. And one of the things I continue to tell you they're pushing is sex work and, slavery. So you see all of these references.
Soon, my friends, the end of days will be coming. Like I told, soon, you must repent now. The end of days are coming soon, my friends. Once men started marrying men, that was it. It wasn't meteors that killed the dinosaur. They all turned gay. It is our time for extinction.
Excuse me. Listen to me, everyone. You gotta get out of here, or you're all gonna die.
Joyful news, my friend. Salvation.
No, it's not the apocalypse, it's not the rapture. The hell mouth has opened, but it's not the devil, it's a hellish Austin Pepper.
Exactly like I foretold.
Really? No, you gotta get out of here. Look, two men kissing.
So now he runs up to a house and he knocks on the door, and a militant guy essentially answers him, and essentially just tells him, leave him alone, in an aggressive way, an aggressive manner. And then at the end he holds out a blue bat, and it's meant to once again signify the fact that they're organ harvesting, my anger, my militance, my mindset, my personality in every area. And a lot of people, especially that's not even in any type of, or engage in any type of physical like action, don't even take any type of like boxing or self-defense courses or martial arts or anything. A lot of them just want the personality trait of being militant and on point, being aware, keeping your head on a swivel, when you're in conversation with someone, to not be intimidated. Like all of those factors, you understand, comes from the personality traits that I explained earlier. And so essentially, when it shows the blue bat, it's just showing that they're also organ harvesting, that extreme from me, as well as they, torment me with the V2K conversation to, reach extreme levels of anger, and then they suffocate and compress me to compress my energy and suffocate, my brain and my throat so that I cannot have a rebuttal in my consciousness and my thought process, where the conversation, which usually turns into an
Attention everyone, this is an emergency! Evacuate! Evacuate now!
Yo, shut the fuck up! I'll come over there and beat your ass so hard your grandkids will bleed.
What does that mean?
But what the hell are you doing here? What are you banging on my door for?
Listen to me. There's a giant rabbit. It's coming right this way and it's gonna devour the whole town.
Really? You got a picture of it?
Well, no.
And funny now that everyone has a camera phone, Bigfoot fucking disappears.
It's because they're crafty.
Shut the fuck.
That's another reference right there as well. Once everyone has camera phones, all of a sudden everyone disappears. And I told you their society moves very incognito, you understand? And so, you have to document for a substantial amount of time to gain enough context in your evidence to be able to prove that they're even targeting you to begin with, you understand? Let alone anything else. Because you have to also, remember, you have to explain this information to several people who know nothing about what is going on with their secret society and how they target people and, divide and conquer, isolate them, and then torture them until they also join their society.
Go, get off my porch.
I'm trying to save you. Don't
Get
let
the
me save your
fuck
life.
off my porch.
Tiger's already an angel.
Shut the fuck up.
He pulls out a blue bat, and then it's also funny because Buddy, when I got my tattoo of the wolf on my shoulder, I believe, probably about a year later or so, Buddy got a tattoo in the same exact spot of an angel. And, this perpetrator society of theirs, that's likened to the show You on Netflix, the Netflix series of a stalker. You understand? They're illegal stalkers who become psychotically obsessed with people because, they're watching them, on the computer through several means and what have you. I already explained they have different means of illegal surveillance. And then after that, they're, plotting and planning with the government and, older people, especially when they were younger, that are telling them essentially, what they are to do and pay attention to learn to copy and mimic and attempt to clone by the time I, where it was to be sent away from Brooklyn, and several people were to, begin attempting to be me in several ways, cloning different parts of my personality, aspects of my personality, you understand?
I'll kill you, son of a bitch.
And so what this scene of Doug running around and screaming about, the killer bunny and, warning them of all of these different, oncoming dangers, essentially is symbolizing is the perpetrators, especially my three cousins, conspiring with several other perpetrators and who are confidential informants in order to spread, execute smear campaigns and defame my reputation and name while attempting to reallocate all of the, my political power, my connections, my friendships, everything that they've been illegally surveilling and spying on me for over a decade, you understand, and plotting like I was just explaining. And so, this is just depicting the fact that they're spreading a bunch of lies, running around trying to, reinforce their society's agendas and lies that they're using to oppress powerful people who are innocent, that they want to exploit and extort, you understand? So in this scene here we have the chief who is injured, and I believe that he's meant to depict my uncles and my father and how they raised my cousins as perpetrators or slaves who were sex workers, and they definitely, perform pedophilic acts on them. And so to socialize them as perpetrators. And so in this scene, he's begging the main character, Doug, for assistance, to which, he just ignores and says he'll put him out of his misery and ends up killing him. And then he says a very homosexual comment. He says, he's gonna miss you, Chief. Like, he's speaking to the chief. He says, I'm gonna miss you, Chief. Who else would stare at his dick while he steals their it sounds like he says drinks, but phonetically it also sounds like dreams. And I know that, with their virtual reality program, they access people's dreams all the time, and then manipulate the graphene construct as well, or just send visuals to their visual cortex, and they can force lucid dreaming as well.
Is that you, Doug? Doug, you gotta help me. You gotta get me to the hospital. I'll be all right if you get me to the hospital, Doug. Doug,
Chief, your legs. They walked away.
Doug, you gotta help me. You gotta get me to the hospital. Doug, you gotta help me. You gotta get me to the hospital. You gotta help me.
Poor thing. Oh, and you're suffering.
Doug, please, Doug, get me to the hospital. Please. No, Doug.
You're in heaven now. Oh, Chief. I'll miss you. Now who will stare at my dick while I steal their dreams? He used to look so long.
So at the end of the movie, the woman that he's with shoots the rabbit, and then after that, they have a conversation, and he asks, if she would like to go on a date with him, being as he, sees himself as a hero, even though it's all figurative, symbolic for and it's their way of blurring lines, as they're the criminals in the situation that are working with the government to do this illegal domestic terrorism on people, and then it's coercion and entrapment because they depict people as all sorts of monsters when they show them attempting to reclaim their own life because the perpetrators want to organ harvest from them illegally and unconsensually, you understand? And so he says, how would you like to go on a date with him? And then she says, nah, she thought he was gay. And then he says, again? And so that could refer to a few things, you understand? For one, it could refer to the fact that naturally he's homosexual and he may be closeted, but people notice it. And then after that too, it can refer to the fact that they organ harvest from people and use Bluetooth technology. And then I already told you the different aspects that go along with it as well. For one, they can attempt to lock you away, or have you in a psych ward or something for the rest of your life, so they can Bluetooth from you forever, or they can literally kill you and remove your brain and hurry up and put it in a vat to sustain its capabilities, its functioning. And then after that, with the graphene technology infused with it, they can use it forever, you understand? And so there's several references to that as well. And so you have to know, everything in between. Don't forget that they always threaten. They can switch the part of your brain that has your actual consciousness and your ocular nerves and motor nerves to a different location, a different body, and then just use your body for eternity, for a lifetime with someone else in the consciousness section of it electronically, and also attached to the motor nerves and what have you, so they can control the body.
So Brenda, how would you like to go on a date with a hero?
No. Besides, I thought you were gay.
Again?
How do you think the rabbit got so big?